Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to get the highly sought after Tame Impala Synth guitar tone within Logic Pro, and I'm going to be using all three plugins. So originally it came from a digital multi-track called the Boss BR600, which has a built-in effects engine called Cosm, but you can pretty much replicate what that's doing here in Logic. So first of all we're going to make just a new audio input. It's just going into audio interface, and then this is my guitar tone. So I'm using the treble pickups, but you can use a mixture of treble and rhythm, but I do not recommend just using rhythm because that can get a bit too dark and the sound is naturally quite a bright sound. So first step is we're going to go over here to distortion, add that in. We're going to set the drive to 37.5 decibels, the tone to 20,000 hertz, and then that is going to sound like this. So naturally it's made the sound quite loud because it is distortion, so just bear that in mind. You might need to bring that down here a little bit, which I'm going to do now. So next step, which I consider to be quite a key step, is to add the pitch shifter, which is what gives it that spaced out sound. So we're going to set that to plus 12 semitones, which is just one octave above, and then we're going to set the mix to 50, which means we're going to hear 50% is going to be the original tone from the distortion coming in, and then it's going to mix it with that octave above. And the last thing here is to set the timing to pitch tracking, which is just going to let the shifter know how the time is derived and how to follow the incoming pitch of the signal. Now we're going to add a reverb. I'm personally going to use Tau Reverb 2, which is free. You can use inbuilt Logic ones, but I like this reverb, and the default setting here works well enough, so I'm just going to leave that how it is. Next we need to add a tape delay, and this tape delay we're going to use dotted eighth notes, which I think is a solid bass for the majority of the songs, but obviously you can change it depending on the song, but that's what I've figured out seems to be the closest. And it doesn't necessarily have to be tape delay, but I just like the analog sound that puts out. I'm not sure what pedal Kevin uses. I'll put a picture of it on the screen, but it doesn't really matter as long as it's delay. That's essentially the sound complete, so I'll give you a quick demo now. Okay, so that's the sound essentially complete, as you can hear. However, if you do want the sound to orbit left to right in stereo like it does in Why Won't You Make Up Your Mind, you're going to need to use an auto panner. So originally I was using this one from Sound Toys called Pan Man, which is great, and I just used the preset 2-bar wide slow MIDI, which means it's going to sync to the internal tempo that you've set in your project, and it's going to take 2 bars to get from left to right and then back again. So this is what it sounds like. But obviously that is a paid plugin because it is SoundToys 5, so we're not going to be using that. We're going to use one from Melda Audio Production called M Auto Pan. So we're going to go here, M Auto Pan, mono to stereo, and you can already hear that's at quite a high rate, which we don't want. So first of all, default, then we're going to set the depth to 100, which means 100% of the sound is going to be affected by this. There won't be any left in the middle, it's always going to be moving. Pan law we're going to set to 0, which I believe is just amplification, but if anyone knows what that means, let me know, but just set it to 0 or close to 0. I'm going to make sure we have MIDI or no sync enabled, which is going to sync it to the internal BPM like it did with Pan Man. And we're going to set the type to straight, which is already done, and then set the length to 2 bars, which means it's going to take 2 bars to get from left to right. So I'll give you a quick demo of that now. May have hit a dead note there, but you get the idea. So that is essentially it. Let me know if you use this in a cover or anything like that. I'd love to see it. And also if you see anyone asking about how to get the sound, because I know I personally have asked in a lot of videos, how are you making the sound, how are you doing it, and I'll just reply, boss, BR600, but I'm not willing to shell out £100 to get one of those, so I've done it myself, and hopefully this will help one of you at some point, as it's been bugging me for a long time. I'll link some tabs to songs that use this in the description, but I'm sure you already know if you're aiming to get the sound. And I'll also link the plugins I mentioned, which are virus free and whatnot, from good sites, and they're great plugins. So I hope you enjoy, thanks for watching, and have fun.